So many thanks everybody for coming and spending some time here. I hope it's been a really good couple of days. It's one of the we've been supporting Big Data London since the beginning, and it really has now been an area of a place where you can learn a lot from lots of different vendors and lots of different stories about lots of different technologies. And so today, let me introduce myself. My name is Ted Orme. I head up the data strategy now for Qlik, but really I'm from the Attunity side of the business. Qlik bought Attunity earlier on this year, and we're in that data integration space. I've been with Attunity almost 20 years now, wearing quite a few different hats in that time, from sort of a little bit of product management, a little bit of sort of partner side. I look after the technology alliances, the relationship that we have with Microsoft, Amazon, and Google, with Cloudera, Confluence, Snowflake, and the like. So a lot of the people out there in all the different booths, Attunity and Qlik, we are very, very partner friendly in the technology alliances space, specifically in the data integration space. It's not as though you wake up any day and you think I'm going to put in a new data integration solution. We are displacing many other sort of older school ETL type products and homegrown scripts for helping people when they're on a journey to the newer architecture and the newer types of platforms they're building out today. Things like Databricks, things like GCP on Google, whether or not you're going to go ADLS. The Microsoft relationship that if you heard the launch of Synopsis last week, we are Microsoft's #1 partner for streaming real-time data into the new Microsoft platform that they're building. It is an amazing platform for fast petabyte queries, SQL queries on top of any type of data. So wherever the journey is of data, we are leading the way in enabling organizations to build out that and bringing your most valuable data. So that was me in the intro part. Let's come on to some slides. The first part really just to understand a little bit of intro about the philosophy of Qlik, about what we're doing and how we're helping organizations. And this has been built into what we call the third generation of analytics. The first generation was a very IT-centric, IT-owned analytics and data, and they delivered an Excel spreadsheet once a quarter to the business and said, there you go, there's the data. It was sort of owned by IT, and it was seen as very a complex, difficult thing. The second generation of BI analytics was where Qlik led the way, really, and that's sort of 10, 15 years ago, where it was more get the data out into the hands of teams, of line of business. People would run their own analytics and process against that, but that became messy, became quite difficult. You lost control, you lost governance over all of and everybody had their own way of working. Everyone has their own analytics on their server sitting underneath their desk, and everyone's reports were always then different. Everyone didn't know what that centralized report may be. The third generation of analytics, where Qlik sees the way, is joining up the story. The democratization of data, starting from understanding the data first, understanding what data you have, bringing it into the platforms you're building today within that, before then using the modern tools of analytics, AI-inspired analytics, which is more of an augmented analytics, before also then embedding analytics into your everyday business work case, making analytics no longer just part of the CFO's office of answering how many widgets have I sold this quarter, but really handing data to the people within your organization so that they can do more with it. And this is where there's a nice quote from the CDO of MasterCard, where he says it's no longer the big fish that's eating the small fish, it's the fast fish that's going to eat the slow fish. If you within your organization are going to do more with data and make data an asset usable then you will be more competitive moving forward. So this is where the portfolio within Qlik can bring that all together. But I'm I'm interested more from the data side, so I'm from the data integration division, and you'll hear from Qlik and our positioning where there are two distinct sort of divisions from Qlik. There's the data analytics division, that's the part of Qlik with Qlik Sense, augmented, the chat bots, the AI engines, and all of the Qlik Sense application, and the data integration division, which will have the Attunity portfolio within that, but also the QDC, which is our catalog. And the catalog is then the critical component that joins these two worlds together. Because typically I sell to IT. I help IT unlock and make that data available, breaking the stranglehold over on SAP or mainframe or Oracle and the like, and give that data over to the business. But the business then doesn't always understand that data. So the catalog is that gateway, the part that sits between these two worlds of IT and the business. So the overall portfolio within Qlik is the data, analytics, and insight. So from raw data to insight, from raw data to ready to driving insight into the data that you have today. But let's look in a little bit more detail now about the data integration platform, the products and the portfolio, the end-to-end offering which we can help you on your journey to get that data into the hands of those people that need it. And it all starts with our flagship component technology, which is based around CDC, standing for Change Data Capture. Attunity are leaders in this. We've been in the challenger side of the Gartner Magic Quadrant for the last 3 or 4 years, but Gartner call us out as being the leaders of CDC, independent CDC. Other vendors in that space like Oracle and IBM and things like that are more locked into their specific platforms itself, whereas we are opening up and making that data usable to wherever you need it. But CDC on its own is not enough. When Teradata launched their first data warehouse back in sort of 1980, maybe 81. They sold that to Wells Fargo. They created an industry of OLTP transactional systems on one side and data warehousing formats of whether or not you're a Kinman or Imble modeled of sort of third normal form and data marts on the other. You need to do the T. And we also automate that T through Compose products, data warehouse automation, through streaming real-time data with CDC and automatically creating the data warehousing platforms on Snowflake, on Redshift, on SQL Data Warehouse, on data, BigQuery and the like, to create third normal forms and data marts to the business. And the third family, the first type of endpoint, we'll go into more detail, is the data lake. And the data lake at the end of the day is just a file system, whether or not that's on Cloudera, on premise, or whether or not that's on S3, with EMR on Amazon, or ADLS Gen 2, or Databricks now as a streaming data lake platform, Spark engine of platform. It's still the underlying, there's a file system there. And by delivering files into a lake, that can quickly become just a swamp. So we also run code directly on the lake itself, either Hive or a Spark, to bring the data back again and usable to the business, creating an ODS, an HDS, type 2, slowly changing dimension within the lake, or a snapshot point in time of the data. So wherever you need that data, in whatever format, we will bring your operational data and deliver it into usable data to the business. And that's where the catalog picks that up to then also manipulate, prepare the data, get it ready for the business. Whether or not there's some credit card data in there you need to obfuscate and hide. Whether or not there's certain profiling of the data that needs certain extra levels of cleanup within that, some ASCII fields that need cleaning up in the process itself. The catalog makes that usable to the business, and the catalog can then publish data to Qlik Sense, but also can publish to Tableau or Power BI or whatever analytics tool that you run today. We know that analytics tools, they're sort of, they're like children. Everybody has probably 2.4 analytic products within your organization today. Within IT, we're selling here to an IT cell. We're not going to prescript you to say you have to do this, you have to do that. Line of business will make their own choices often to which tools they're using, and we will be open and in our architecture and our technology to help you get your data into the hands of your teams in an efficient way, whatever products you have. we will also like to articulate why we believe Qlik has the best analytics products, to have an end-to-end joined-up picture for that, to show you the best of analytics and insight that we can offer you. So what's changing? What type of what is influencing the industry that is driving our growth over the last few years? And here, these are just some of the themes that we're seeing. And the first one is not rocket science here. The move away from traditional on-premise environments to cloud environments. But here, the biggest thing here is the multi-cloud. What I mean by that is, be careful of having a cloud lock-in. The big cloud stack providers that can offer you everything looks very attractive and looks fine, but actually in the long run you see innovation coming down and you see certain prices coming up. So keep an open architecture to put the right data in the right place based on that business need. And for us, we're seeing in those large organizations, not just one, but all clouds being enabled, so that you can keep that flexibility within any infrastructure. The second area is data warehousing got quite a bad press. So did data lakes 3 or 4 years ago, of not being able to show value, not being able to show enough return on investment. But the modern cloud data warehouses and the modern cloud-based data lakes really are. It's as a service. And this really has changed the industry. The rise of Snowflake really is changing the world of data warehousing, with Redshift, with BigQuery and the like, because now the cost of looking after this infrastructure is you only pay when you're using it. You only pay when you actually need it. And if you don't like A and you want to move to B, you can easily do that in those different environments. So now the cloud data warehousing and the cloud data lakes really are beginning to show much better value to organizations to extract the data, and we're seeing that in our customers and our clients today. And the third layer is real-time and streaming. If you do have any real-time use cases, then by definition you need a CDC solution. You need to get your real-time data out of Oracle and SAP and mainframes and the like. But also the modern rise of Confluent and Kafka. Confluent were on Keynote yesterday, and Confluent are trying to change their persona to be more than just a pub/sub sort of messaging system. They themselves want to be a database, an analytic workload running KSQL within Kafka itself. And we're seeing a lot of organizations going down this route in order to build APIs and microservices directly out of Kafka streams. And there we turn a database into a stream. We turn SAP into a stream. We turn a mainframe into a stream, and just click, go, stream that directly into Kafka or Kinesis or Event Hubs, or on Google now pub/sub for next year. Wherever you need that streaming technology, we can turn your database, your transactional systems into a stream and put that into whatever streaming platform you're looking to build today. So these changing architectures means that your traditional tools that you have today, which are traditionally going to be the sort of ETL products like maybe SSIS or Talend or Informatica and the like, those traditional sort of developer-heavy coded sort of ELT, which is the box and the arrow to deliver the data, they're not fit for purpose for meeting this more cloud-centric streaming technology. Those automatic data pipelines you need to unlock the data and get them into the hands of those target systems you're building, traditional ETL tools are not fit for that type of workload and those types of environments. And this drives a newer methodology. This drives a newer terminology, which is being phrased DataOps. Because quite a few vendors are talking about it. Just to be clear, DataOps is not a product. DataOps is not a solution. DataOps is a methodology. It's a methodology of doing more, of failing fast. It's bringing that DevOps style in, and colliding that with data. Gartner came up with the term. It's on a hype cycle. Gartner likes their hype cycles. It's only just starting on the hype cycle of the up curve of that. But helping organizations be more adaptive, of changing the way in which they're using data is critical. And we're helping organizations on that journey. There's a really nice white paper that Gartner have just written that's just been launched that we co-authored and worked with them. More than happy to send you links if you want that, so you can read that paper itself. And one of the people that was interviewed and is talking there is from a very, very large conservative bank, Commerce Bank. Commerce Bank are like the second or third largest bank in Germany, and they're almost part of they're almost a government organization within Germany. They are so conservative and safe. But 3 or 4 years ago, they knew that they were in trouble. They knew they were in trouble because starter banks were coming up, online banking was coming, payment systems were coming, online insurances were there, and they weren't there ready to meet where their customers were already going. So Commerce Bank went to the market, and they hired somebody out of Google, out of California. So German organized bank went to California, hired somebody out of Google, flew them into Frankfurt, doesn't speak German, and he and his wife came over, and now they're based in Frankfurt, have been there now sort of 3 years. Kerem Toma. And Kerem has direct reports to the board, and he came in and he just had authority to change the way an organization like Commerce Bank uses data. And this is where DevOps and DataOps as a methodology, culture eats strategy. Every day of the week. If you drive culture within your organization that is changing the way you're doing it, if you see something that is wrong and you don't think it's right, but you don't have the authority to change it, it'll never get changed. Culture will change the way people are doing things with data. And he has created a culture within a very conservative German bank to do more with data and change the way in which they're going. And they're going cloud first, they're going multiple cloud, streaming on, they have a data lake, they have Databricks, they have Kafka, they have the tools there to deliver on this, but he empowers his teams, he empowers the people within those organizations to do more and fail. If you fail every day, then you're getting better. Fail fast, do more, understand data better, and they are already seeing massive rewards because of that, changing the way in which they're delivering on an organization, all wrapped up within a methodology of DataOps. So how do we help organizations in that space? Unlocking the data out of operational systems with Replicate, with CDC, making that data usable to the business with Compose, making it usable in a data warehouse, a data mart, or on a data lake, and then cataloging it, making it usable so that people can find the data that they want to answer those questions in a usable way. So, recap everything I've spoken. Everything is in this one slide. So this is the one slide. If I've lost you now, come back for a couple of minutes and listen to these 5 minutes. And when it plays out at the end, then to take a picture at the end. But this is the whole story where Attunity helps organizations. And it all starts with data. Back again at the beginning. Oracle, SQL, DB2, SAP ECC, as well as HANA. Those transactional systems, those OLTP systems that run your organization. There are people within your organization who will be looking after those machines, who have their arms around them, those database admins, those mainframe owners who say, stay away from I look after this machine, this runs the business. So we don't install anything there. We're just sitting alongside it, reading the transactional log. Reading that transactional log in memory, and when the commit comes through, we fire that transaction into any of those target systems that we support. And then, I have never found a better word for it, in the Americanized words, there were then 3 swim lanes to where the data might go. The first one is the simplest one, it's replication. Oracle to SQL Server, DB2 to MySQL, Postgres to Oracle. Wherever it's creating an ODS, a real-time, transactionally consistent copy of your production systems. This is just the simplest of replication, but there's no there's no transformation, it's just one OLTP system to another. Usable to the business for dashboarding and reporting and query offloading and the like. But actually the more valuable endpoints are when you're delivering real-time data into a warehouse and then automatically creating third normal form data warehousing and data marts on any of the target systems you see there. Snowflake, Redshift, SQL Data Warehouse, or BigQuery in GCP. So delivering real-time data, and then through a model-driven design, we can import a model from something like CA Irwin, or we auto-generate that model. We are ourselves a modeling engine within that, create the model, compose it, and then create the warehouse and the marts on those platforms. And the third endpoint then is the lake. Whether or not that lake is Databricks on S3 on Amazon, or ADLS on Microsoft, the file systems that they support, and then we run code on those platforms to bring the data back again and make that usable to the business, whether or not that's, like I say, an HDS, an ODS, or a snapshot. So I will always, if we have a conversation, one of our solution consultants, I will always ask you, what data do you have, and what data do you need, in what format, and why? So what data do you have over here? I have SAP, I have mainframe, I have DB2, but I'm looking at evaluating Snowflake on AWS, or I'm building Databricks on Microsoft, on Azure. So again, one is a source, one is a target, and we are unique in our offering of the CDC component and the automation component end to end to bring real-time data out of your operational systems and deliver it to wherever you need it to the business. But again, IT, this is still only 2/3 of the story, because then we also need to catalog that. So again, I forgot to go into a bit more detail for each one of these. There's a little embedded video with each one of these. I'm more than happy to share these as well. If you want to see some slides, make these available. These we can share these as well. This has a short video just showing how easy it is through our Replicate product. And here, this is bringing data out of SQL, out of SAP, and streaming it directly to Snowflake. So out of SAP and landing it into Snowflake, all within a few clicks. I don't need to install anything on that SAP system on the mainframes and the like, but I'm just interrogating a schema, seeing all the tables, all the structures within that source system, and then replicating that into any of those target systems that we support. And we support in the region of about 70 different sources and targets, all within one GUI-driven design, drag and drop, press the start button, and it does the full load, and then does CDC as changes happen, will incrementally land those directly into that target system itself. That then is half the story. That's then the component of bringing the data, and this is where Compose picks up the story. Compose automates then that creation of the third normal form and data marts. It's a modeling tool here. It's also running on Snowflake, that I'm looking at the source systems and I'm integrating, and you want to know the model that you design. It is a modeling tool at the end of the day, and it auto discovers the model. So here I'm auto discovering a model based on a Northwind database. That's the classical dev environment that you pick up itself. Here are all the orders and the tables, the structures within that database, but it will also generate the code to see all the relationships, see all the relationships between all the tables and the columns. And even out of this just eight tables, it generates almost 1,600 lines of code. That's what your developers would have had to do in order to create, type 2 history of just table structures. It auto generates that code, pushed down onto the data warehousing platform of choice that you're running today to create that data warehouse and data marts on the system itself. And it then streams real-time data. So it double generates the code, because you need to create different code for all the updates and that you deliver into a system. You can't just do it once. As real-time data comes through, you need to update that warehouse, update that mart over and over. So we also generate that code as well. Zurich Insurance is a good story about that. We have a very public case study about how we helped them on their journey. Alex, who owns the data platform from Zurich, was speaking for an event for us just last week about how we've helped them on delivering real-time data into the Zurich cloud and data warehousing platforms. And the third part is the data lake automation. And again, the same as Compose there, but also we add lineage. You want to know the structures. You want to understand the data. Where did the data come from? It came out of SAP. Where did it land? Where is it coming to? So you want to go back. The business needs to have trust of the data to see that end-to-end lineage of where it's coming from. All of this is also available within the product set to enable analytics itself. So, like I say, that is delivering the data to IT. But where the business still doesn't understand, the business doesn't really understand that, customer DIM data or all of the SAP BSEG data or things like that. They understand orders and they understand pricing and they understand discounts and such. And so we still need to catalog and make that usable to the business. If I'm coming into and I want to start running analytics against, say, Salesforce, I don't need to see everything that's being done across the whole of the business. I just want to see certain components. But actually, if I could come to a catalog and I can see that this is the sales data that my CFO is using, then that's a good starting point. So actually, okay, I'm going to start with that data as well, and I'm going to start running analytics against that because I know the CFO trusts that data. He knows that that's usable for his analytics, so I can come to that and that will be my starting point to publish. So the catalog has three sort of personas within it, users that will be able to get the value out of the data. And the first part is the engineer. That's also probably the person that will be driving and looking after Replicate and Compose. They understand the data and they're delivering that in that usable format. But the steward is the most valuable person, really, that looks after the catalog. Because the steward is the one that's ultimately responsible for things like GDPR compliance. One needs to be understand about whether or not there is sensitive data about who is allowed within your organization to see that data. They are the governance and control to understand where that sits. So that they typically report up into the CDO division in understanding the governance and the overall structures of the data itself. And then the user, the consumer, they just come on and they're only ever going to see the data that they're allowed to see. They're only ever going to see the data that they've been given permissions to see within the organizations. But now they can query and they can see it and they can understand some sort of shopping cart experience. That I want to see, here's some source data out of stores and I'm only seeing data that I'm allowed to, but I can see that it's good data. I can actually see who else is running analytics against it, what type of reports they're running against that data. And then also then from there, from the catalog itself, I can then publish. I can then buy that data, put it into my shopping cart and publish to Tableau, publish to Power BI, or I will articulate you should be publishing to Qlik and Qlik Sense to get that end-to-end journey of the best of breed analytics. But whatever analytics platforms you're running, the catalog is that gateway between the two to make that data usable to the business, so that the business can come on and see all of the data that they have and run the analytics against that. So where it sits, where the different products align, and how we can bring raw data out of your operational systems into the platforms you're building today, on-premise or cloud, catalog that, make that usable to the business to then publish into whatever analytics platform you're running. Qlik are leading the way in keeping data open and independent. So much so that the catalog, if you're a Qlik customer and you're aware of Qlik, Qlik creates unique data structures called QVDs. These are proprietary data structures within Qlik. We can also catalog QVDs and publish those to Tableau. We can catalog QVDs and publish them to Power BI. We are telling our customers, our new audience, that we believe that data should be open and available to whatever platform you're running on today. So the catalog will, even the proprietary engines within Qlik, we will publish and make those available to whatever platform you're running today. That's why we believe an independent data strategy to whatever cloud provider, whatever platform you're running on today, that independent data strategy and the independent analytics strategy, Qlik will help you running that across whatever platform you're running today. So a final quote just out of Gartner about the value of what Gartner sees as being the catalog to an organization. Whereas Gartner sees as being those organizations that can exploit the needs and exploit the value that a catalog might be, will be those organizations that can truly leverage the value of data within their organization today. And this would be the last slide that I want to leave you understanding the technology platforms we're working on. Many vendors out here today, it all starts at the bottom. There's Oracle and IBM and SAP and transactional systems. And everybody's going to the cloud with one of these three cloud providers, or all of them, or even Alibaba if you're a multinational in the Far East and the like. And the modern unicorns in the middle, whether or not that's Confluent, Databricks, Snowflake, will run across all of those cloud providers. Attunity are the #1 vendor for helping organizations unlock the value out of their transactional systems. And we can read once and write many. You want to put data into Databricks on Microsoft, you want to run it on Snowflake, on GCP, wherever you're going, whichever strategic direction your company is going and where you are going as an organization, we will help you on that journey to unlock the value out of your transactional systems to bring them into these modern platforms today. I made reference to the Gartner paper that has just been released just a week or so ago. It's a very good overview about how using data within an organization, having that DataOps methodology is changing the ways certain organizations are driving their business. We co-authored some of that, and you'll hear some of my words in that document as well. So that wraps up my time here. We do have a booth where we have solution consultants and demos and things available. We're more than happy to do more of a deep dive in understanding your structures and understanding the challenges that you're facing today. Slides will be made available, and if you want any other feedback, please come and see us. There's also a free coffee machine at our place as well, so you don't have to buy it. Come and grab a coffee on us. Otherwise, thank you very much.